you do have to hire when you need to hire, as long as you're growing. Now, you don't want to hire someone if you're at 70% and you're never going to see 80, okay? You get my drift? So hire a small but efficient team. A small business normally can't afford to hire a big team. You don't want to have a lot of overage in your company with people. Doesn't help them and it doesn't help you. It's a complete waste of money. Hey, this is Greg McAfee, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. Now let's get started. Hi, Greg McAfee here, and welcome to the Greg McAfee Show. As always, if you guys have not subscribed to the YouTube or to the pod channel, feel free to do so right now, because each week when I produce one of these and put them out there, I really want each and every one of you guys to learn more about running a business and be more successful, sleep better at night. So on every Tuesday, I'm going to put one of these out here. Please hit that subscribe button right there if you haven't done so, and turn on those notifications so you'll be the first to see it. Okay, today we're going to talk about some strategies on small business success, having small business success, because we've talked about how hard it is to start a business. The odds are definitely against you. But today we're going to talk about, once you get this thing going, what are some strategies for your success? So I like to say, if this is the first time you're tuning in, I own a heating and air conditioning company, 31 years in the making. We've worked our way from number 500 in the area to number 1 in the residential market. And we've maintained number 1 for several years, which you know how hard that is to do. We've got a target on every side of us. We're being shot at all the time. But I've learned some things along the way, and I tell everyone I learned to share. And I didn't learn to share. I learned more things about running a business. I've learned from some of the best. And I share it with other people because I want small business in America to continue to thrive, and I want you to provide jobs, help people, serve people, and bottom lines, make as much money as you possibly can, okay? So here's some strategies. Number 1, hire a small but efficient team. Now, I tell people all the time at McAfee that we are a very lean operation. Most people think we have over 100 employees. I've had some people guess when they walk into my building that we have 250 employees. And we're right around 40 employees. So we run a very lean operation. One of my metrics is revenue per employee, including myself. And it's extremely high, higher than most. We're probably in the top 3% of our entire industry in the United States. So I run a very lean operation, but we have really good systems in place. We have a great team, which I'm going to talk about today. A great team that, and now that we're doing a 4-day work week, we're even going to get more accomplished in a week. And I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. I just mentioned at the last podcast that we are kicking off the 4-day work week. It's already in effect. We have an installation team. We have a service team. They're both on the 4-day work week. So far, so good. We also have some other teams, an air duct cleaning team. We have customer service team. We have a sales team. We have a sheet metal team. So all those will eventually get to something. I don't know if it'll be exactly a 4-day work week. We actually got with our customer service team, and they said they didn't want a 4-day work week. They said they would rather have, like once a month, have a 3-day weekend. And we can accommodate that very easily. And that helps them, that helps us, that's fine. Remember, guys, gals, if you don't evolve in your business, you will die and you will be out of business. So you're going to have to change with the times. And I don't care if you agree with the times or not. You're going to have to change with the times, because you're either going to evolve and change and do things differently than you've ever done them, or someone else will, and you'll be out of business. Pick which one you want. And I've got a really big window right here. I'm seeing out the front of my building. I've got a 30,000 square foot building here in Kettering, Ohio. And when it was built, it was built for a computer supply company. So it's top notch. And I bought it about 6 years ago, long story short, but my podcast room is in this front part of the building off to a side that we don't have a whole lot of activity. So it's relatively quiet over here. But I can see McAfee trucks coming in and out every time I make a podcast. And I don't know. 31 years and I still like seeing my trucks on the road. So if you're in business, first of all, as I coach, I also coach businesses. I have for 14 years, coach business owners rather. You should really try to be a lean operation. You need to hire when you're ready to hire, when you're at capacity to hire. And basically what capacity do you hire at is somewhere around 70%. So when you have if you have a technician out there, whether you're a plumber or electrician or whatever you are, if you have a technician out there and they're at 70% capacity, so let's just pretend that they can do $1 million a year out of their truck. If they're doing 700,000, you need to start hiring, because when they get to about 85 or 90, it's time to divvy up some work and get another truck on the road. And I don't care if you have 2 trucks or 200 trucks. That capacity measurement still works for everyone. Now, yours might not be 70. Yours might be 60. Yours might be 80. I don't know. Ours is about 70. So you do have to hire when you need to hire, as long as you're growing. Now, you don't want to hire someone if you're at 70% and you're never going to see 80, okay? You get my drift? So hire a small but efficient team. A small business normally can't afford to hire a big team. You don't want to have a lot of overage in your company with people. Doesn't help them and it doesn't help you. It's a complete waste of money. I coached a guy last year, and he insisted on having a certain number of people when he truly didn't need them. And it was going to be years before he even grew into that number. So our coaching, it didn't go well, because he was never going to make the money he made, because he was spending $120,000 in a couple salaries that he didn't need. And so you don't want too many people, and you can't afford them. Honestly, you can't, as a small business, you can't afford having too many people. Jim Collins, who wrote the book Good to Great, if you haven't read that book, I challenge you to read it. It's an older book, but it still applies today. And they compared companies. How did some companies go from good to not even being around anymore? And other companies went from good to great, and they're still around today. So Jim Collins said, you need to get the right people on the bus before you start driving the bus. Get the right people on the bus. So you're going to hire you're going to be a lean operation, but you're also going to have the right people on the bus. You're going to explode in growth, because you've got a great combination of two things. Great people, lean operation means more efficiency and much better profit. Bottom line. Goes right to your bottom line. Much better bottom line. Number 2, actively learn from your competitors. Now, as I wrote these, and I was thinking about a few things. In a perfect world, I would love to be like Amazon and Apple. They don't have much competition, honestly. They've devoured their competition, and I love devouring our competition. I really do. We only have a few competitors. I've mentioned this before, and it's on purpose because we do not compete with certain companies in our area. They're not in our ballpark. They're not in they're much lower priced than us. They can't compete with us. First of all, they can't keep up with us. And they're not going to do the quality job that we do. We're a premier HVAC dealer. We do it right or we don't do it. So what can we actively learn from our competitors? And it doesn't matter how old of a company you are. As a matter of fact, when companies that have been in 30, 40, 50, 60 years, when they talk to me about coaching them, the first thing I say is, old dog, new trick. Are you going to be willing to listen to me? Because I'm going to teach you some new tricks about business growth. Do you think you can actually listen and believe them? And I always get a chuckle. And honestly, some people say, no, I can't. Thank you for your time. Because I'm going to rock their world because, some of the things I've learned over the past 10 years, I'm sharing, and it's over their head. They can't grasp it, and they don't want to change. So it doesn't matter how old of a company you are. If you're willing to learn, you can change for the better, continue to grow your business. And I always use the term blow it out of the water and make your competitors ask, what in the world are they doing over there? That's what I like. That's an action plan for success right there. And I just want to know what our competitors are doing. That's all. It's not to copy off them. I've never copied off a competitor. They copy off me. I'm always ahead of the competitors. I'm always thinking outside the box and staying ahead of my competition. Matter of fact, there is another heating and air company in our area south of us. Now, we don't compete a whole lot. They are a good-sized company, but they're nothing like we are. But they hate us so much that they don't even say my name. Internally, they say it's about that company up north. Now, when I heard that, I was so happy. I'm serious. I was so happy because we're making that big of an impact on a competitor, per se, that they don't want to mention my name. Okay? That's a good thing. As I think of that, I also think about, we had someone working here at one time, and his dad, one of the guy who worked here for me, his dad went out for breakfast, and little did he know there was another heating and air conditioning company in a big long table next to him, and they're talking. They had a company meeting there, and they're talking about all this stuff, and they probably had about 10 people at the table, and the owner said this. I couldn't believe it when I heard it, but this guy's dad wasn't going to lie to me. He said, I just sat there. I was done eating, but I just sat there and I had to listen more. He goes, I wish you could have been there. I wish I were to I'm sorry. He said, I wish I would have recorded it. By the way, I'm drinking iced tea today. No sugar, just plain. He goes, I wish I would have recorded it because he said it was awesome. He said, the owner said these words: we need to be more like McAfee. We need to start arriving on time. We need to start being more professional. We need to keep our trucks cleaner. And the guy said it went on and on and on. We need to be more like McAfee. First of all, I about fell out of my seat because, I'm sorry, how stupid can you be as an owner to tell your team they need to be like a competitor? That doesn't even cross my mind. If I want to tell our team they need to be better, they just need to be better. I'm not going to compare them to someone else. We just need to be better. Here's what we need to do to get there. But it was so funny because, I mean, the guy goes, I just couldn't believe it. He used McAfee, the name, 3 or 4 times during this meeting. So we're doing something right. So basically, what can we learn from them? What are they doing? And for the most part, what shouldn't we do? Okay. When I started McAfee and I worked for other heating and air conditioning companies, I used to keep a log of what I wouldn't do when I started McAfee. And the log of what I wouldn't do was much longer than what I should do. I already knew what I was going to do. I just learned I will not do it this way. Okay. So that's the only thing I take away from my competitors is what we'll never do. And then you need to know your competitive advantage. What's your competitive advantage? What do you do that your competition either doesn't do, wouldn't do, can't do, or just doesn't even understand the concept of what you're doing? And for the most part, that's what a lot of our heating and air conditioning companies around here, they can't even understand the concept of what we do here. As a matter of fact, we are on a hiring campaign right now, and we've got several applications coming in right now because of the 4-day work week I told you about. You know, people are tired of working for other companies. They're tired of working for companies who rip people off. We hear that often. They also want to be trained better. People want to be trained, top-notch trained, and that's what we do here. We're a premier McAfee dealer, and we train right, we do it right, or we won't do it at all. So people are coming in here, and we're hiring them from other companies, and not only does that help us because they're either partially trained or trained, and we don't have to, all we got to do is get them to do it the McAfee way, and they're happy. They're learning more than they've ever learned. So, you know, 2 quick stories is one of them said they came from another company, and I said, did your employer ask you where you were going? And he said he did, but I told him I wasn't going to tell him. It didn't matter at that point. But I did tell him that I was getting a $4 increase in pay. And he said, well, there's only 1 or 2 companies that could possibly do that, and one of them's McAfee. So are you going to McAfee? The guy just looked at him and said, I am. But again, we're setting the bar across the board here. We're setting the bar across the entire region we service. I mean, this is who we are, and this is what we do. And if you want to keep up with us, go for it, but good luck. Because we're constantly changing, we're constantly moving, and we're constantly growing. But what's your competitive advantage? Also, the second part, I said I'm going to tell you 2 things about that. The second one was we're doing some training, and we've got a couple guys from different companies that have just come on board recently, and we took them in our training lab. And we taught them just a few things that they had no idea they could do, that it could be done that way in order to troubleshoot something. It was like you just opened up their eyes to something new, and they were so excited, and they had a lot of questions, and what if I do this or do that? And it was just exciting. But, you know, if you're going to be in an industry that services people, then, you know, you've got to stay up with the times, and you got to learn how to troubleshoot the best way possible. My guys are in homes all, 24/7. And when you're in a home at 2 a.m. and it's 0 degrees outside, you don't have time to be going the long way around the barn to figure out what's wrong with the problem. So we have some really quick ways of finding out, is this board bad? Is this bad? Is this circuit bad? Is this bad? And we figure it out fast, and we get things fixed fast, and we move on. Sorry, sold a big job, and my salesman's asking me a question, and which is a good thing. I love getting. We celebrate sales here, by the way. So anytime, I'm kind of overseeing our sales department right now. So I meet with our sales team every single morning, and we go over yesterday's schedule. What did you do? What didn't you do? And we go over today's schedule on what needs done. How many? And we set the goal. We have a goal for the whole month, but we set a goal each day. So, we're closing at 80% right now, which is extremely good. And we're not the lowest price by any means, but we know how to close. Again, training matters, right? So we set a goal. So if we have 10 estimates today, the goal is what? 8 or 9, right? And we just set it each day so everyone's on the same page. And he just sold a really good sized job for Monday that we actually had someone reschedule on. So I'm very pleased. All right, so moving on. Here's a couple important questions. Does it matter what your competitors are doing? So does it matter what your competitors are doing? I apologize. This rarely happens, but a sales important, so I know you understand. I think it does matter what your competitors are doing. I know a lot about my competitors. I know about how many employees they have. I know how many trucks they have. I know about how much revenue they do per year. I think all that's important. I know what brand they sell. I know how they service. I know how they sell. I know if they have full-time employees or if they subcontract. That's very important. It's very important on a sales call. I need to know everything there is to know about my salespeople in order to beat them and blow them out of the water. It's not for me to copy them. There's nothing to copy. I'm sorry, but there's nothing to copy. If they come up with a great idea, then kudos to them. We should have thought of it first. But we're not copying. We'll come up with our own ideas. If I want to copy, or we call it R&D, rob and duplicate, I'll do that from a company, 5 states over that no one knows about, but not my own competitor. I really don't care what they do. The more I'm watching them, the less I'm watching my own company, and my own company is priority. Yours is too. I say all this passionately because so many guys get their eyes on the wrong things, and they get their eyes off their business. And it's very important to keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye on your business. Know where it's going at all times. Know your numbers. Know the metrics you need to know every day. Has anything in our industry changed that we should now adjust for? Be ahead of industry change. Be ahead of it. Know when something's going to come out. I mentioned on this podcast several podcasts ago, I was very upset with myself when refrigerant spiked in price, and for some odd reason, I didn't know it was going to. And when I had not a heated discussion, but a concerned discussion with my suppliers, I'm like, why didn't I know about this? Because I would have bought skids of this stuff before it skyrocketed and tripled in price. And they were like, honestly, Greg, it happened so fast, we didn't know about it. So anyway, you should know about stuff way ahead. You don't find out refrigerant or steel or copper is going up in price 6 months after it did. It's too late then. Being in a financially sound company like we are, we're able to buy bulk. If I know copper's going to double in price, which it almost did or has by now, we're buying skids of copper tubing. The line sets is what I'm talking about. We're buying skids because when my competitor is paying double, I'm still paying the old price. Now, is there some competitive advantage to that? You better believe it. So, good stuff. Is there anything in my industry changed that we should now adjust for? Absolutely. Industry's changing fast all the time. Be on track to change with them. And number three, marketing and advertising. Is it an expense or is it an investment? I believe it's an investment. I believe it can be a great investment. It's just like any other investment you would make in the investment world. Now, I've said this before. I'm in Ohio. We are 90% weather driven. I don't care if there's a recession. I don't care if there's an election. If it's hot or cold, we're busy. Okay? So in Ohio, I can go out and have a advertising campaign for, let's say we're sponsoring a big concert here in Dayton. And it's supposed to be 95 degrees that night. It's going to be hot. So we invest in these little wood handle fans with the McAfee logo on it, because if it's 90 or 95 degrees, every person in that entire concert is going to have one of these fans. Outside concerts, what I'm talking about, by the way. We also invested in something you could plug into your iPhone, and it's just an electric fan, plugs in there. Everyone will have one if it's hot. And if it's hot, our investment paid off 10 times fold, okay? Everybody has a fan. We're going to get calls tomorrow. It's going to pay off big time, okay? However, if for some reason it rains, or if that temperature drops down to 75 or 80, it's not a good investment anymore. People walk by our booth and they don't even take a fan. So now we have went home with boxes of fans that we invested in just for this concert. So we have to save them for the next one. Okay? So my investment can go up. And I'm a risk taker, so I'm going to bet it's going to go up, and I am praying for a hot night, right? Okay. So marketing and advertising is an investment. You need to, if you don't know anything about it, then you need to hire someone, ask around for some referrals of who is good for small business advertising. Because you need to create a Google business listing and start building local SEO. And you need to advertise on Facebook. You need to use social media to drive traffic to your website. And you need to advertise on different podcasts, popular podcasts in your area, people listen to in your area. And you need to be on YouTube, Spotify. You need to be, you kind of need to be everywhere. Now, that's not going to happen your first year or even your fifth year in business, unless you're in California and do $4 million your third year, which is unheard of in Ohio, by the way. But Google search ads, you just need to be there, but you need to hire someone who knows how to do this. If you don't know how to do it, don't waste your time. You need to be out generating sales yourself and know what you need to do, and training your people and thinking from the neck up, by the way, and quit touching everything. I just wrote a blog the other day on quit touching things. You're touching things and it's causing problems within your company. You're now paid, if you have more than 20 employees, you're now paid and employed from the neck up. All you need to do is think. You need to set the vision. You need to think of new ideas. You need to manage your leadership team and whatever else you want to dabble in from here up. And you're going to be much better off. So, hire small, but be efficient. Learn what not to do from your competitors. And realize that marketing and advertising is an investment, and it will pay off well if you do it right. Okay, I hope this helps, and as always, carry on and have a great day.